So I want to address hip pain. Hip pain is something the medical industry, I'm not going to blame the industry for everything, but don't take my word for it. But some of actually just, there are some good doctors out there, but there's a lot of counter arguments not being out there. You always hear the conventional one-sided argument where you got to take surgery and surgery like the only option. Like it will be mentioned on the studies, the articles provided in this lecture, and the common symptoms, of course, pinching, sharp sensations. When you go into a particular stretch, I don't want you to feel intimidated by it, scared or overwhelmed. And when you do encounter those sensations, just keep focused on that particular muscle group in that stretch. So deep tissue work can work initially, help unnecessary tension, some knots. It does initially work, but if it's not doing anything or making it worse, it does require strengthening of that muscle group, activation, firing up those muscles up, especially in the gluteal areas or the lateral hip areas. And usually people find pain, discomfort at the front. I mean, that's the first symptoms I had, like the hip flexors and the adductors were just tightening up, and I was very stiff and sharp pains. I couldn't even sit down or walk, and all that requires is heavy contraction work. That's why I keep hyping about muscle contraction, and it will require a lot of activation of the hip flexors, the hamstrings, and develop strength at the glutes. And if even that's not doing enough, all these months later on, you can always realize that one of the main culprits is hip and the rotator muscles, so external internal rotation muscles, and the exercise that go with it. And keep referring back to the self-tests. Refer to the hip external and internal rotation muscles and the exercises for it too. Hit them hard as you progress, and always do like for the bendy people, do heaps of contraction activation work, and for the stiff, you might have to hit all three. So this is a long journey, a long process. I mean, it took me nearly half the year to hit all three and then develop more strength 6 months later on. So yeah, it's a bit of a long journey. I was in the really deep end there, so had everything going for me. For some people, it might take a month or two, maybe even up to 6 months. I have a program that will get into the more advanced stuff, so just stay tuned for that.